Welcome to the BoyFriends podcast, where we help you find your circle
and your man.
It sounded like somebody messed up there.
It's been a couple weeks.
It has been.
Wait, what did you say?
And your man.
And your friend.
Man. Okay.
I'm Jarrod D. King. I'm here with Sarun and Renee. And Sarun, why don't you give us a quick update on what you've been up to?
Oh man, yeah, I've been out. Finally had a vacation. Me and my friends went out to California, Southern California. My first time actually exploring there. Got to go to Joshua Tree, Inglewood, LA, Long Beach. Long Beach is where all the Cambodian people are. The number one largest area in the United States where all Cambodian people are.
Wow.
That was cool. Got my hair cut there because I had cut it myself horribly. And I found this random Vietnamese shop for $9.
Looks good.
Yeah,
Yes.
So, yeah, just woke up.
You just woke up. All right, we're going to hopefully some of that caffeine will kick in soon. Renee, what's been going on since last week?
Since last week, I mean, I had a whole staycation. I've been napping literally all week, and it's been amazing.
Very good.
So yeah, that's honestly all I've been up to, just sleeping. I highly suggest that people try it. It's amazing.
Good. Okay. You're getting caught up on sleep. And yeah, nothing really to report. I mean, it hasn't been 2 weeks since we last recorded. We only recorded one episode last time. So yeah, not a whole lot to report. I did enjoy our last episode though, and I enjoyed having Mama Shay on the show. And I think she gave us a lot of wisdom. She gave us a lot of laughs as well. So thank you. And as you can see, Melvin and Tony are not here this week. Hopefully they'll be back soon. So we'll see. But we're going to jump into this topic. So our topic today is, why is it hard to form friendships in local community organizations? And so I'm kind of coming from this at an angle where the typical advice when you say, "Oh, I don't have any friends," or I wish I knew people, or you're or you're new to a city, is to join a community organization doing something that you like to do. In my experience, it's been a little bit difficult, or it hasn't necessarily yielded much, not without a lot of effort. And I'm just curious what you guys think about that.
So I haven't really tried to make friends through a community involvement thing. I know my friend Tyler, so she got involved with her local dog park in Fishtown, and that's how she made two really great friends, Tara and Ellie. So she didn't really have that much issue finding new friends, through the dog park. So yeah, and I think that what really helps when making friends in a community group is just, I don't know, just honestly just saying hi.
I think that's really important because it's interesting. I went to I've joined a pool team, so billiards, and they're with a few of I'm on a team with a few of the guys that I know from this tennis group that I'm in. So I mean, clearly I've had success, after a long journey, I've had success making friends in a community organization. But even with this group, I went out and we got our team t-shirts. And it was just funny. I was talking to one of my teammates. So I was like, it's all of the teams were there to pick up their shirts, but they were all kind of clumped together with their own team. And I'm like, we're all here at a bar and nobody is intermingling. And so, I mean, I know I took it upon myself, and me and my friend that I was with, we just started we started jumping up from team to team. And I'm like, we need to break up the cliques a little bit. But like you said, Renee, I think a big component of that is just kind of saying hi and starting the conversation.
You guys already have something clearly in common. I think maybe people just again, I think we've talked about it before, but people just get so comfortable within their own unit that exploring outside of it just seems weird, which I don't ever get. Just be friendly. You can make so many new friends just by just walking up to someone, and even if they're I don't know, kind of rude or you don't click, Like, what is that, like 2 minutes of your life that you're not getting it back? Chill. Like, just
and
move on.
I wonder if it also depends on the leadership of that that group that's being formed, right? It's kind of like, are you creating opportunities, like, you know, for interaction? I know for me, it's hard for me because I'm always the one that's facilitating those type of situations.
Yeah.
But I think back when you brought the questions just now, I have to go back to college, I guess. You know, me and my closest friend, he's black, I'm Asian, and we tried to, you know, we went to like the LGBTQ college groups, right? And just seeing how the meetings go and whatnot, their space. I know for me and him, we've always tried, but we never felt like we fit in because it's very white spaces. You know, the white LGBTQ experience, and it's like you can't relate. And, you know, being at, and this was Penn State, and then, you know, I know there were other people of color part of that group, but it was just perspectives and lingo and languages that were geared toward white culture, right? And I can relate to it. Things like, you know, sticky rice, right? You know, identity as sticky rice, or you know, it's very stereotypical, right? So for us, we tried like visiting 3-4 times, didn't like it, we just stopped going. You know, you just got to know what you like as well. And I think I've never I feel bad, I've never tried to join any other type of community groups. I would also share that sometimes you think Asian people could just hang out with Asian people. It's not true. Like there's situations. Yeah, right? Oh my God, surprising. But it's kind of like sometimes if in Asian spaces, if they're mostly East Asians, like Chinese, or I say sometimes light-skinned Asians, right? Sometimes. I know I'm mixed, but they have a different culture. They have a different upbringing, and their jokes don't make sense to me, right? I'm Southeast Asian. I'm a refugee background. Our community's a little different.
Weird. It's like Asia's like a whole ass continent or something.
And we don't speak Asian, right? There's no one language of Asian. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is it's hard for me to even relate with other Asian ethnicities if I don't even relate how they're brought up. But yeah, so that's just my perspective.
You know, and I think that that's interesting. Like you bring up like the different cultures of these community organizations. I know, like, when I was kind of jumping from group to group, and I was, you know, I specifically wanted, you know, I wanted gay friends. I wanted people in the community. I wanted, you know, a little bit of a community there. Just because, I mean, I don't know. I don't want it to be an issue. I never wanted it to be an issue, like my sexuality. And so I started seeking out some of these spaces, I will say in Philly. And a lot of them were very white. And that's not to say that that was a bad thing. It's just that, you know, I think I was in a space where I would feel more comfortable if it was more of a mix of people or more black people that were involved in these organizations. Now, it also brings to mind, it's like, I don't know. It's just I just always found it so hard to find other black friends in the community because I feel like we aren't in these community organizations that much. Now, I don't, you know, that's not to say that it's our fault or their fault for not creating a space for us to be there or anything like that. But I feel like the only places that I could meet, or I felt that the only places that I could meet other black gay men was, you know, like the club. And that was basically it, you know? And I just feel like we weren't really out in those spaces that much. So I was always like one of maybe 2 black people in a group, or the only black person in a group for a while. So yeah, that was a little bit difficult. And also the makeup of the groups of a lot of community organizations are a lot older. So that's also a part of it. So it's like you don't, like, you can be, it's almost like, you know, I feel like I'm talking to an elder and you can't really be yourself. You have to be polite. You have to be, you know, you have to be respectful. And not to say you wouldn't be respectful with, like, you know, a younger friend or whatever, but it's a little bit different, you know? Yeah. Like talking to your grandma.
Actually like talking to my grandma.
Oh,
she and I are besties.
So I have a question connected. Have you ever led a community group, and how have your suggestions to making people feel welcome. So in case there are listeners who are in charge of these type of groups, are you making people feel welcomed? What are some strategies you would suggest to help facilitate that, to be more welcoming?
Do you have an answer for that? I'm trying to think about like how they could be more.
I want to be able to contribute, but like I don't join community groups.
Yeah.
Like I live in North Philly, so it's kind of hard.
Mm-hmm.
My community is Korean Christians.
Mm.
And I'm like not even kidding you. Like I live right by a Korean grocery store, and that's all I see. Those are like that's literally my community.
I mean, I think as far as making it more accepting of other people, I mean, I don't know that they're not. I don't know that they're not accepting of other people. I think there's just this perception, at least in this city, that if it's a majority white space, that they're not accepting.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes we need to just show up and test that theory. Because I never really felt, like, I will say, like, despite my difficulty making friends in these community organizations, I never felt that I was, like, pushed away because of my race. I felt like maybe I didn't necessarily fit in on some level. I think there are definitely, I don't know. I don't know. It's a little bit of both, I guess. It depends on, like, it's just like when you see that there are different types of people, let's say that, so if you see that there are different types of people coming into your group, I think you have to go above and beyond to make sure that they feel included.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, and that's just kind of what I do just in general. It's like whenever I bring a new friend into the group, like even if it's like a friend group or to a family gathering or something like that, I make sure that they're okay. I may make them annoyed by asking them, are you good? Are you good? Are you good? All the time.
I feel like I definitely did that when I like invited you to that Halloween party. I was like on top of you. I was like, you want to play some beer pong? You want to do this? Cause, like, I feel like you weren't friends with everyone else. And so I went out of my way to make sure that you felt super welcome.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's exciting is, for everyone to know, I invited them both to a 43rd annual Cambodian New Year celebration. That's
so
gonna be.
excited.
I'm pretty sure y'all haven't never been to a space like that, right?
No, I have not.
So yeah, so I'll make sure you guys feel welcome somehow. Maybe I'll do a shout on stage if I remember.
Oh, gosh.
And I'm very excited to look hot and get free food. That
It's definitely a plus.
That is what I'm looking. I'm also looking forward to being introduced to a beautiful new culture, but also free food.
Some drinks from Cambodian men, like
hopefully
single men.
Is it open bar?
It's not open bar. It's a cash bar. Yeah, unfortunately.
Cambodian community of Philadelphia, get it together.
Yeah. Well, so
Girl,
usually,
don't say that.
so here's the thing. Usually we have parties, but it's BYOB sometimes, right? So Hennessy and all, Heineken and all, and drink it at the table. But this one's, we're at the Hilton.
Okay.
Is there a way that people can like donate?
Well, yeah, you could just. Damn, how do I go to chp.org? I'm horrible.
It's okay.
We just made a new website. I didn't put all the QR codes yet.
Okay,
yeah,
so
just to learn more.
CHP.
CAGP.org.
Okay.
CAGP.org.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll put that link in the description as well if you would like to donate. So how do we find success in? I mean, like I know we say just saying hi and kind of starting those conversations. Sometimes I feel like you need to, like, how do you find success in these community organizations, or how do you when you start going out to these community organizations, I feel like you kind of have to continuously go before you make any inroads, especially if it's a close-knit group.
Maybe, like, I think that when you get into it, as soon as you can, maybe take it outside of the community, like invite them out to like a drink and like say like, hey, you want to go grab coffee somewhere, and not just keep it solely within that community, or like that community group. I think just taking it outside and kind of forming a bond elsewhere might help make it feel a little bit stronger and less forced, kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think, just taking it outside and getting to know them, outside of, pool or tennis, because they're obviously going to have other things.
Yeah.
Like I always talk about Tyler, but Tyler's fighting community, whenever they get together, all they talk about is fighting. Like, I know for a fact you guys have other things.
What kind of fighting?
MMA fighting,
Okay.
taekwondo. I'm so sorry, Tyler. I forget what kind of fighting you do. But mostly MMA. And whenever they're together, all they talk about is fighting. I'm like, I know you guys do other things. Like, talk about that. And so I feel like sometimes you kind of get stuck in like that community where you guys can't get to know each other like elsewhere, and I think that's the best way to make friends, to like get to know them. Don't don't know them for tennis or for pool or for MMA fighting. Like, get to know them.
Yeah, you just reminded me. So before I returned to my current work, I was actually thrown into the world of environmental conservation. They needed someone who helped develop community, and so basically I was with naturalists, birders, all the things you could, horticulturalists, all that, and that's not my world, right? So, and I was pretty much the only Asian person in a lot of the spaces, and they were predominantly a nice mix, but still mostly white and African American. So going to that space is, I don't know shit about the environment. Going to the park was nature for me. I'd never been on a nature walk, but yeah, I think that my intent for sure was not only knowing I want to contribute to this community, but also learning from them. And the one thing I learned was, like, naturalists and all these scientists and things, they're so patient and welcoming, right? With learning and sharing information. And then that's not everybody, right? So being in that space, I felt like I could come in and be like, hey, why aren't these spaces diverse? Why aren't there more other ethnic, blah, blah, blah. But I think going in and seeing them for who they are first, without this ill will intention and saying, I'm coming here to change things or X, Y, and Z, just learning where their community's at, right? I'm spitting, sorry.
No. Fine.
But yeah, so I think that, those 3 years, and that, I'm still friends with everyone, is knowing that, there's space to learn and share. And then that's where I shared my pieces and help reorganize and things like that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's a beautiful thing when you also join a group that you may not even know you were interested in. Right now, I feel like we kind of know who we are, but then I was rediscovering myself as Sarun as a naturalist, or Sarun as a birder, or Sarun as this X, Y, and Z. And there's a whole movement for black birders, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So my colleague Taiki James, he's like helping. He's part of this community, and it's amazing to show that black people go birding. Black people are in these spaces, and they're making waves, and it's beautiful, and you can have employment in it. Right, it's not just like sailing and all these other cool waterway things. It's not just a white people thing. It's for everyone. Just create the space for them. Have access. And what does it mean? Water mean to each of these individual communities. Yeah.
I would also say, if you feel that there is not a space, create the space.
Yeah.
That's easier said than done, but that's definitely an option as well. So yeah, that would be another idea. Now, do you think, like, for gay men, is it worth it looking for groups outside of like a gay group? You know what I'm saying? Because I just feel like, I don't know, me personally, I kind of prefer it, but I've also joined a Dungeons and Dragons meetup. And they're not, well, I don't know, one guy might be now, but
I hope that one guy's watching.
but yeah, it's not a gay Dungeons and Dragons group, it's just Dungeons and Dragons, you know what I'm saying?
That sounded kind of cool. Gay Dungeons,
gay dungeons, comma, and dragons.
I'm
that
sure
is
there's
a porno.
An old DVD out there somewhere called that.
Right. Oh gosh. But would there be a point to maybe looking at some of those outside groups that maybe you have interests in, but they're not necessarily geared towards like a gay community? What do you guys think? I mean,
I'm not a gay man, but I think that it would be nice for them to kind of branch outside of, predominantly gay groups, because that could also open up someone's eyes to the gay community. And kind of, like Dungeons and Dragons, maybe they haven't really had the opportunity to hang out with a gay person all that much because, like, I don't know, is Dungeons and Dragons like a gay thing?
I don't know. I think it's pretty open
is that
now.
Predominantly a gay thing is what I mean?
No.
So, yeah. So, like, you never know. Like, maybe that group has never gotten the chance to, like, hang out with the gay person, talk to them. And then they're like, wow, we should really, like, make sure that this space feels more open for LGBTQ plus because of that one person. Like, we want to make sure that, like, more people feel welcome. So I think that would be a good approach to branching out is you're getting people to get to know you in your community. Exactly. Like you're joining communities, which I think is really cool.
And that's perfectly said because we have intersectional identities, right? When I'm in my spaces, it's funny because like when I'm in this space I bring up being Asian a lot more, being Cambodian, but when I'm in my own space I let it be known, hey, I'm gay. I'm gay. There's because we're very, if you think about it a lot, in my community, a bit more conservative, right? And we don't talk about gay stuff like that. But yeah, I make it known. I start talk more about those key pieces. I know, for example, there was a conversation about caregivers. Mom, like for the event that's coming up. How come we don't say mom and dad that they could get a comp ticket if their children's coming, right? That's in our program. I was like, well, you can't just say mom and dad. It's something so simple to us, but they don't think about it. Like, it might be a single parent. They might have two moms. They have two dads. You can't just assume that's mom and dad. It could be a grandma, caregiver, right? But anyway,
guardian.
But yeah, having those different spaces you're in, I always feel like I have to educate other people in spaces about me being gay or just the community. And that's in my mind, that's in the back of my mind. When I go into new spaces, it's, and I don't know if you can relate, you always got to fucking come out every single damn time to the new group that you're in. I don't have to come out being Asian because I look Asian and but when it comes to being gay, I feel like that's why I feel like dragging my feet when I have to. It's like, okay, let's be in this heterosexual space.
I think that's why I kind of prefer going to like a gay themed group because that piece does not have to be discussed. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if you're going to like just a general group, you may have to do a little bit more work to kind of get people to understand how to be with you. It could be worth it. Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, I think it could be worth it as well. I mean, like, I would also try to see if the group says, if they're like in their group description or whatever, that they're open to LGBTQ whatever, or they're a gay friendly group or something like that. I think that goes a long way as well to because with that kind of as their statement, you kind of know that going into it, that you probably don't have to express that.
Sure.
Sorry. I was thinking about my friend's dog park and just kind of thought of like LGBTQ plus welcome, like I was like underneath like the sign or something. Sorry, because I'm sorry. I was just thinking about it like in my head. I'm like, how would you like make that known without making it seem like super cheesy or like weird? Like LGBT, that'd be like Black people welcome.
Well, it's not necessarily like that though. It's more
I know.
Yeah.
I just got this vision in my head and I figured it out now.
It kind of like, do you feel like that's the similar tone for like these white stores that write Black Lives Matter? It feels like they have to say it on their door.
Yeah, sometimes a little, yeah, but I like to see the representation. That's amazing. Sure. But yeah, no, I think just like kind of maybe putting like the LGBTQ plus flag would suffice. But for some reason in my head, all I thought is just like a little sign that says LGBTQ community welcome. And I can't get it out. I'm sorry. I need to compose myself.
All right. So anyway, I mean, is there anything else that maybe we could maybe kind of close on this one with? I know this has been kind of a short topic.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's important because when we always tell people, oh, just join a community group, and it's just like, it's kind of like one of those offhand comments. It's like, well, you don't know all of the different dynamics that go into it, especially if you are from an intersectional kind of community, you're like you have like an intersectional identity. You're Black and gay, or you're Asian and gay, or whatever. There's a little bit of difficulty when it comes to that. Do you have any like maybe closing remarks for advice for anybody kind of diving in to their community?
I'll take the perspective. If you're listening, you're in a position of opportunities to help facilitate these meetings and greetings. Make sure you make it intentful, purposeful to welcome other people. Might be mindful of microaggressions. This is opportunities if someone's not from your community group to really lead with microaggressions, to thinking that's making them feel welcoming when it's not. Just being mindful and intentful with your intentions for your group and who you want to be part of. Yep.
Yeah. I would say if you're going to go to these community groups, if you're going to try these out, you may have to try a few of them out. At least that has been my journey. Not everything is going to you may luck out and find a group that's amazing on the first try, but I think like with anything, it's going to be a little bit of effort. You're going to have to show a little bit of more effort, and it may not be the best experience on the first day. You may not make a best friend on the first day, but you have to continuously go and show up. And I think it's easier when you're doing something that you really like to do. So that's the good thing about community organizations. It's like if it's something that you're interested in, it's pretty easy to kind of like jump in and to continue to go. But I think you kind of have to make the time to be there. Do you have any closing remarks?
Honestly, just find what interests you the most and kind of go in with that community. And I think my biggest advice is just to, form bonds outside of that community, and take the friendship outside of the little group, and try to form a strong friendship,
like individually.
Yeah, individually. Yeah. I think that's what's going to make it a bit more enjoyable, because then you're actually friends. You're not just, a part of a group.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all for watching, and please give us a like, a share. Please comment. Let us know what you thought. And until next time, if you have no one else,
you got us.